Hello and welcome back to Lucy, the eternity she wished for. Let's load up our game and continue where we left off. I've endured this far with just one goal in mind. There hasn't been a single day where I could rest. It's becoming natural to go to bed at the crack of dawn. I don't recall the last time I've been home. Thinking back, it's been quite a long while. 15 years. 15 years have passed since I started this project, but the end is near. 15 years of hard work and determination. After all this time, fruits of my labour may finally be realised. How long have I yearned for this day? I'd almost given up on you many times, but I've persevered and finally succeeded. Barely managed to hold back the tears. I remind myself that it's too early to celebrate. I must restrain my exuberance. I'm teetering on the brink of complete exhaustion. I've been pushed physically and mentally to my limit. I've become a shell of my former self. The last 15 years have taken a huge toll on me. I cannot wait any longer. That is why. Please open your eyes. Lucy Valentine. Tap. I shut off the alarm by reflex. I grudgingly get up to check the time. The clock reads 6:30 a.m. School starts at 8 sharp. Takes 30 minutes to get there, so I have about 1 extra hour. There's plenty of time left, and I'm still feeling tired. Closing my eyes, I lie back down. I decided to catch some more Z's. After a brief moment I get back up. I realise that I'd been forgetting something. Come to think of it, wasn't it there I look around for the android. There it was, dressed in provocative clothing, with a tall nose, luscious lips, and hair glinting in silver. The android named Lucy came into my view. Lucy. As I call out to her, I'm greeted by an immediate reaction. It seems to be revving itself up. It mutters something and starts to rise off the floor. A robot with looks no different to that of a real person. Also with a pretty face to boot. Don't get the wrong idea. Just because it's attractive doesn't mean I'm interested. Since it's a robot. In other words, it's just like checking out a girl from a magazine. Except that feeling is amplified tenfold in this case. Although technology is improving, a huge gap remains between humans and robots. You can't approach a person like you would with a robot. No matter how close a robot could simulate a human being, machine and man will always be different. As I continue staring at the android, I think to myself, what kind of greeting should I be using here? Good morning? Did you sleep well? They all feel out of place. I decide to ask about her condition instead. How are your battery levels?
100% 충전 완료. 문제는 발견되지 않습니다.
Good to know. Let out a yawn as I make my way over to the bathroom. Was this really necessary? Finishing up my morning ambulations, I dry myself with the towel as I head downstairs. Entering the living room, I spot a couple of plain sandwiches on the table. Grabbing one, I start munching down. It's always the same sandwich from the convenience store just across the street. While chewing, I glance around the living room. My father has already left for work. He always leaves early and returns late at night. Actually, he typically spends the night at work. That's how it is around here. I head back to my room. The android is waiting for me in the exact same spot. Looks like it hasn't budged an inch. Expected from a robot. Putting that aside, I start to prepare for school. While packing my bag, I start to wonder if the robot has any magical self-regenerating abilities. How do you feel now that you are fully charged? Are you able to walk? Its head slowly turns to face me.
하체 관절부의 상당량의 과부하를 감지. 통상적인 임무를 수행하기에는 이에 걸맞은 적재적소의 수리가 요구됩니다.
Keeping things simple, remember?
아직 걸을 수 없습니다.
Still, aren't you a real pain? Anyway, I understand. Not even going to make the attempt to fix it myself. I'm way out of my depth here. I'll see what happens once I take it to the repair shop. Just about finished packing. Only one thing left is the android itself. So how am I gonna lug this thing? Will it really place in a backpack? Guess there's no other choice. I kneel down facing away from the robot. Alright, hop onto my back. It tilts its head to the side looking confused. After noticing that, I start to get a little irritated. Top of the line? Yeah, right. Am I supposed to explain every little thing? Listen up. Put your arms around my neck and climb onto my back. Can you do that? Follows my instructions to the letter.
확인 요망. 이 방법이 맞습니까?
Ugh! Stop! I surrender! I collapsed to my knees in the coffin fit. I think I nearly blacked out there. Are you trying to murder me? There's no need to put that much force into it. Just do it enough not to fall off. Honest to God, I thought I was a goner. That thing's got a steel vised chokehold. This android should look to be a world wrestling champion. Okay, let's try that again. Second time's the charm. Rising off the floor, I brace myself for the extra weight. Huh? But lo and behold, it was deceptively light. I think I'm coming round to appreciate this first-class product. And lift off. The weather's not too bad. The brisk autumn breeze is cool against my skin. I gladly inhale the crisp morning air, letting last night's stress melt away. The streets are still quiet, which is good. The less there are to see this, the better, especially with what I'm lugging on my back. Let's see here. Where's the repair shop? Memory serves me it should be about 15 minutes away, which is a relief, as I'm not really what you call a fit guy. Not sure I can sculpt this thing much longer. And now this robot's fidgeting. Hold on tighter so you don't fall off. Feels like I'm scolding a child. Hey, stop moving around so much. I can feel the android through my clothes. Its texture feels surprisingly similar to a human's. I noticed it yesterday, yet it manages to surprise me again today. And that's not the only thing. It's warm to the touch. Feels as if I'm carrying an actual person. Probably just its heating system. That would explain it. Wow, it feels just like a real person. I must admit to myself absent-mindedly.
냉각기 및 온도계는 정상적으로 작동 중입니다.
Say what?
인간의 기온을 척도로 세밀한 발열량 조절을 반복하고 있습니다.
Good to know. Motherboards and microprocessors consisting of various computer chips. There must be thousands of those inside a single android. Heat emaciating from the machine. It's as warm as human skin, it feels just like us. But it's not a real person. It's just an elaborate fake. Sometimes I fear what progress in technology would bring to the future. Do you know where we're headed? With a word, the robot shakes its head sideways. We're going to a place that will get you fixed up. When they begin the repairs, you need to be still and quiet, so they won't be distracted, do you understand? Hey, I'm asking if you understood. Say something. Maybe it took my command literally. I just hope it got my message. Letting out a frustrated sigh, I resume walking. It should be about time for my classmates to head in. I'd be in a hurry so as to avoid running into anyone that might recognize me. I arrive at the place in an aching and huffing mess. Sure, it has the look of a small antique shop. Though mostly dealing in second-hand goods, they do dabble in robot repairs. Word is that there's even a fixer who likes robotics, and that he's half decent. Normally I wouldn't be caught in a place like this, but these are unusual circumstances. What, a customer already? Hold on a second. Talk about a grumpy demeanour. After a while, the man emerges from the back, scratching his head. And judging from that not too pleasant expression, I'm pretty sure the guy's not an early riser. Stifling a yawn, he asks, "So, what can I do for you so early in the morning?" Unable to move my arms, I gesture at the android draped over my back with my chin. "Can you fix this?" "Is that an android?" Wiping his tired eyes, he gazes intently at the robot. "Let me see here. I don't think I've ever seen this model before." Spot a glint of curiosity in those sleepy, half-closed eyes of his. He walked over to take a closer look. Well, I'm stumped. I can't make out the model. It's probably some obscure model from an unknown company, or it's never actually been released to the public. Where'd you get this, kid? Well, how should I play this? I might call the cops on me. What I did was clearly illegal. So, what should I say? Well, the first one's not actually a lie. He did find it lying somewhere outside. But we're telling the truth. Found it in the junkyard. Junkyard? You don't mean that company's junkyard. Tosses his thumb over his shoulder. I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to, but I haven't seen any other junkyards around here, so yeah, that's probably the one. You've got some guts, kid. I hope you know how much the fines are. I know that anything in the world is free as long as you don't get caught. You're a funny kid, I like that. Well, guess he's cool with it. Wait a minute, what's this? Nasty frown forms on his face. Is something wrong? Yeah, you could say that. Suddenly he starts fussing like a little kid. What kind of sicko would do this? Oh dear, I don't think I want to know. Just look at it, the whole frame's ruined. It wouldn't even be able to move around properly on its own. He was right. Pretty savvy of him to point that out. I guess he's the real deal after all. So, you think you can fix it? That's not the main issue here. There's something more important. And what's that? Do you have the resolve to take proper care of an android? The resolve? Where'd this come from? Listen, androids break easily. They're fragile. They're sensitive. They're delicate. Do you get what I'm saying here? He emphasizes his point 3 times. This is how passionate he was about it. You can see that he really loves his robots. At the same time, he's starting to freak me out. He continues to rant. For a lot of people, androids are nothing but fancy toys nowadays. I mean, those kinds of folk pay for my food and bills. But whenever I hear about how they've been mistreating their androids, I tend to lose my temper. They don't understand how important these creatures really are to us. I unwittingly take a small step back. Creatures? This man just referred to androids as creatures. He's not right in the head. From time to time there have been people who fall in love with androids. Not just carnal desire. I'm talking about people willing to spend the rest of their lives with androids, treating them as equals. It's a controversial topic that's been getting more discussion. It's an abnormality spawning from an advancing civilization with constant innovation and in technology. As someone who's never seen it happen firsthand, I've always refused to believe it. I can't believe such people actually exist. An android simply lacks the intellect to be paired up with a human being. It's nothing but a glorified hunk of metal that can make our lives a bit easier. I'd rather spend my entire life with a monkey. At least monkeys are actually living creatures. And they share many similarities with humans. This is my first-hand experience with such a case, and I feel more disappointed than shocked. He seemed perfectly normal. Guess you can't judge a book by its cover. I'll get it fixed, but you better treat it right. Got it? Really? I'm not the one who banged it up in the first place. Even so, I don't feel like it's worth starting an argument over. Let's just get this over with. Crystal. Yeah. What a great kid. At least you listen when someone tells you something. Since we're all chummy now, how about lowering your price? Huh. Don't push your luck, kid. That was a full 180. So much for our budding friendship. You know what? Fine. Half price since you're my first customer of the day. Ooh, that went well. I'm relieved to hear that. Any discounts are most certainly welcome. Great, can you have it ready by end of school? Pretty light days, so yeah, it's doable. Punches some numbers into his calculator. Then he shows me the results. I was planning on charging you only about this much. What do you think? I blank out for a bit. There are a lot of video games I've always wanted to buy. I also need to save up for new textbooks that I'll be using next year. This robot had better pay for itself. Fine, I'll pay you when I come back. Holding out my treasured pocket watch, I glanced at the time. Wasted too much time here. An outdated gear clocker in this day and age. I like it. Has a nostalgic charm. And I'm well aware these types of watches are hard to find. But more importantly, this is my personal way of rebelling against this continuously developing society. Hey, you piece of junk! Can't you hear me? No response. Finally decide to address it by name. Lucy. The robot immediately reacts. What's with this thing? I'll be back after school. Behave yourself, alright? The android wobbles its head back and forth. I'm hoping it understood me. And with that, I leave the shop. I hightail it towards my high school. I'm in second year. While running a movie I saw recently spring to mind, an old sci-fi flick set in the year 2050. All these oldies seem to be lacking in one thing: creativity. Few showcase large-scale space battles. Others would have flying vehicles soaring through the sky. Well, guess what? It's 2050, and we don't have moon-sized starships or flying cars zipping around. People still walk to school. People still drive normal vehicles. People still ride bicycles and skateboards. Some people still use old fountain pens or pocket watches like me. But there exists a single piece of technology that's become more prominent in our lives. Androids. They're being used everywhere around the world. That's one thing these age films got right. Morning bell snaps me from my reverie, and I dash straight to my classroom. Please refrain from running in the hallways. A janitor android scolds me as I rush past it. This type has facial recognition software to report any transgressor, like me, except I simply cover my face, so there's no record. You gotta know how to exploit the system. Safe. Bolstered by my recent victory, I strut towards my desk with a confident swagger. I notice that the teacher's not in yet. I pluck down in my seat while still huffing. That was pretty close. Did you sleep in again? That concern-filled voice, coming from the guy sitting next to me. A clever-looking fellow. People usually refer to him by his nickname, Dr. Gears. That's because he's a real geek with a burning passion for robots. I, on the other hand, despise robots. And whilst I'd label myself an introvert, he's very approachable and outgoing. Moreover, our tastes and hobbies differ quite a lot. You'd think we have nothing to do with each other, but as they say, opposites attract. I know, weird, right? No, I just had some business to take care of. Really? This early in the morning? It's a long story. I'm cut short by a middle-aged man making his entry. Our teacher. Female assistant android trails behind him. Let's talk about this later. I send him a signal. He returns a thumbs up. Lunchtime rolls by. I take out my freshly bought pieces of bread. Dr. Gears does likewise within the very appealing lunchbox. 2 desks have been joined together. On mine there are a couple of pieces of fried croquettes with a carton of chocolate milk. A friend on the other hand has quite a tasty spread on his, which he seems to be enjoying immensely. I've heard that this maid android makes it for him every morning, and the food doesn't look half bad. Then again, anything looks better to a poor schmuck like me who eats bread every day. Problem with your food, or... never mind. Problem indeed. I bite down on the croquette. Delicately piercing its golden crispy worn surface, a savoury scent wafts forth. The sweet flavour of the dough mingles with the tantalising aroma, creating a heavenly mixture. But that's not all. The creme inside unleashes its softness as it slowly melts upon my tongue. For the vegetables in the mixture provide a strong, rich flavour. The eggs are mashed, potatoes join the fray by pleasantly blending in with the other ingredients. This refined taste, it must be... Oop. I had you going there, didn't I? Setting aside the sad excuse for a rubber substitute, I posed a question to Dr. Gears. By the way, didn't you once tell me that you had a lot of androids at home? Huh? Yeah, around 6 I think. That's a high number. A typical household can't afford that many. Rumours that Gears is from a well-to-do family. Why the sudden interest? It's nothing. Oh, wait a minute. He starts grinning like an idiot. Your food's falling out your mouth, you know. You've taken a liking to androids, haven't you? So you're calling off this little war of ours? More like a temporary truce. Good enough. Androids are simply amazing, you know. They're truly the greatest innovations science has delivered this since the beginning of mankind. There are quite a few types. My favourite's the maid models. They take care of all the chores and really know how to cook. On top of that, the female ones are pretty cute. Sometimes I find myself admiring their beauty. You've got one sick twisted mind, Gears. Don't you know that people can achieve inner peace with beauty? It's been proven by science, you know. I shake my head wearily. I do admire his enthusiasm over something so petty though. Really. Look, it's what's in the inside that counts. What are you talking about? Appearance doesn't matter. It's still a crummy, stupid robot. Here's an example of using people. Let's say there's a person with a pretty face, but he's a man. Does the fact that he's got a woman's face change anything? No, he's ultimately a man. Likewise, even if I see a beautiful android, since it's ultimately a robot, its aesthetics don't matter anymore. It just becomes an illusion. What I'm trying to say that is even if a robot acts like a person, it's not. Therefore, all robotics are the same to me, and I dislike them all. Guess you still haven't changed your mind. But there has to be a reason why you brought it up, right? Normally you wouldn't ever talk about it. Well, yeah. If you're looking to buy one, I'm here for you, man. I'll make sure to fill you in on everything you need to know. I'm telling you, you'll be making the greatest purchase of your life. In response, I rubbed my cheeks in embarrassment. I'm not exactly looking to buy one. Could it be that you're worried about the price, my friend? Don't worry, I have some connections that will let you have one dirt cheap. As long as I'm with you, there won't be any problems. No, it's not that. There's no need to buy one. Now, just what do you mean by that? Fidgeting awkwardly, I wonder if I should tell everything. I found one somewhere. Found what? An android. You found an android? Yeah. Where? At the junkyard. You lucky so-and-so. Is it something like an IDX 358 or 455? What model is it? It's something that starts with a P. I can't remember. Someone told me it's a pretty recent model, but I haven't seen anything impressive yet. Might as well give it some time though. It was free after all. Now you've made me curious. I'll be sure to pay you a visit soon. He pauses for a moment before continuing as if he's trying to change the subject. Well, I'm certainly happy that you've taken an interest in androids, but... But what? But you should be careful. About what? You've seen them on TV, right? People who are obsessed with androids. They say it gets tough to deal with as time goes on. Robots are robots. Humans are humans. You should never forget this boundary between them. Robots are mere tools designed to make our lives easier. Nothing more, nothing less. Me being struck by lightning is more likely. Fall in love with a robot? That's just crazy. I know, of course. I don't expect it to happen to you, of all people. But you know, better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Alright already, I'll keep it in mind. He nods in response. Before I knew it, the day's last class finally came. At last, another monotonous day of school was coming to a close. But it feels like this lecture's lasting all eternity. It's like I'm stuck in molasses. The chalkboard is filled with scribbles that are barely decipherable, making it very hard to understand the lesson, which is painful enough already. Ugh. I can't take it anymore. The teacher's also awful at explaining things. It's where it goes through one ear and right out the other. Unable to hold back the incoming fatigue, I let out a small yawn. Glancing round, it looks like no one's doing much better. All these mediocre teachers have one thing in common: their teaching method is way too convoluted. A bunch of rotten snobs, that's what they are. And yet time marches on. The teacher's dreadful onslaught of words ultimately comes to an end. Watching a politician's speech is more riveting in comparison. All that's left now is to go home. Time to get out of this place. I pack my belongings hurriedly, waving goodbye to Dr. Gears as I start to head home. On the way, I suddenly realised something. I'd nearly forgotten about the android, and almost ended up heading straight home. I doubled back towards the repair shop. And we'll leave it there for this time. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please press the like button and please subscribe. But until then, I'll see you all later.